Hey, folks.
Hi, Ed.
Hey there. Getting it together here. Getting it together. We got Terry, we got Greg, and we've got Levette. Okay, we got the power bunch here. Let's see. Got a couple other people coming in. Just trying to get this all together. And how was everyone's week? Okay, Greg, how
Great.
was your week?
I don't even know if I'm muted or not. Am I
You're
muted?
not
No.
muted. You're not
Okay.
muted. We hear you now.
Well, it started out a little tough with my mom in the hospital, but
Uh,
she's out and in rehab now, so it's all good.
okay, good. I'm glad.
Maybe better than you. You're in the path, aren't you?
I'm not exactly the path. I'm kind of off to the side-ish a little bit, but I am supposed to catch a flight out tomorrow to Los Angeles. So let's see if that actually happens.
Yeah, I'd be looking to move that up to today if I were you.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, if anything, I would just cancel it, but I've got too much work going on. In any case, that's the downside to Florida. Every area has one. California, you get all shaken up. Florida, we get all blown out. And New
Yeah, but
York, you
this
just
is the
get
second
robbed.
in 2 weeks. That's pretty bad.
It's pretty, yeah, but it's also not unheard of that this is hurricane season and it's now actually towards the end of hurricane season. And we have it's kind of what you live with here. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Well,
And
from a real estate perspective, it's killing the condo market.
it's
The
not
insurance is incredibly high. I just went through my condo board insurance policy, and it's tripled to quadrupled since the in the last 2 years.
yeah,
And this is just make it even worse. It's making insurance rates unaffordable.
it's
I
a
got the beach
it's
of
a
those, but
very, very big expense. Hopefully, okay, look at Greg put the hurricane behind him now. Thank you, Greg. Just the constant reminder. I've got my follow me on social media, and Greg, you follow him on the storm. In any case, we're going to get right into it here. Uh, all about building a team. Who's on a team? Greg, do you have a team? I know you've got some people that you want to work with. Oh, look at how enthusiastic Dina is. We're going to get to Dina in a second. But but Greg, talk to us about that, and then we'll get on to everybody as well.
So I'm actually, I don't want to say buying, but I am merging into a team as we speak.
Really?
Yes.
Is this secret information, or can you like let the cat out of the
Well,
bag a little bit?
it's secret within my office, but I can let the cat out of the bag here. Actually, one of the highest performing agents in my company of 1,200 agents is retiring.
Hmm.
And in so doing, she has asked me if I would be interested in taking over her team. So
Wow.
I am looking at it kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with the book The Golden Handoff, but I'm using that as kind of an outline for the plan to take over her team.
Isn't that interesting? So there's going to be obviously some type of ongoing payoff for existing business. Is
A
that,
3-year declining, yes.
yeah. Okay. If you at some point think about it and write a blog post about it, I think a lot of us would benefit from the whole merger thing. I've gone through a couple mergers and I've had some disasters, one of which was not a disaster at all. But it would be interesting to get that kind of feedback. But today, for the purpose of this meeting, Dina, you were all excited. You want to tell everyone about your team? She's muted. She can't think of
Wait,
what.
wait, now
Now we hear
I'm
you. We
muted.
hear you. We hear
Okay.
you.
So I have the best team. I am on Edmund's team. And it's interesting because I started in real estate in New York as part of a team, and I found it incredibly beneficial. I went out on my own and I did well on my own, and it was all good. came down to Florida, I started on my own, and I found, especially after COVID and nobody came into the office anymore, it was just lonely, and I didn't feel inspired, and I just didn't enjoy it. And then I got lucky enough to meet Edmund actually at what I thought was a social event, but he considered a networking event. And it was Bashir. We really clicked, and it has worked out very well, I think, for both of us. And he is inspirational. And I do feel lucky to be part of a great team. And we have other great people on our team. We have Nicole and Samantha, and I think we have a good.
And Daniel?
We've gone through a couple of people, and Daniel. I'm so sorry, Daniel. Sorry, but I'm just like on a day-to-day basis. I think we really click well, and I think it makes a big difference.
Sure. So and I think that all that's important, and I think you're right. There is real estate, as social as we are, it could be a very lonely business. You really can wind up just really isolated and not getting the advice. That's part of why this you know forum is so important, because we just keep having there's ideas that could be spread, and just a collaborative group think. But let me give you a couple rules to live by. First of all, did everyone get the workbook for today? The workbook is just something for you to use at home. If you haven't, please put something in the chat and Daniel will whisk it over to you. But it's one of those things that really gives you some stuff to think about after these meetings. And one of the things that I want to talk about are just a few of the rules that I think all of us should really live by. One of them is never do what you can outsource. Now, there's more to that story. If you want to do the follow-up, never do what you could outsource, and never outsource what could be automated. Think of that like 1-2 punch. If there's something that is not dollar productive, and I'm guilty of this, I do a lot of stuff that is not dollar productive, but you, the people who are in this meeting, need to work every single day to find a way to avoid that kind of work. So, whatever type of system you might want to set up, I've spoken before, Daniel, Greg can't get it to download. Greg, why don't you send Daniel your email address and he'll email you the PDF, because it is important that you actually get that. I don't know why it's not downloading. And Eitan's putting it out there. But I want to just discuss with all of you, for those of you who aren't doing what Greg is doing, actually buying a business. Greg, it's more than just being on a team. It sounds like you're almost purchasing a company. No?
Almost.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. You wanted to share with us a little bit about how that actually gets structured? Just again, I don't want to meddle too far in your personal business here, but I am curious to see what some of the considerations were for you, and what is a client from their standpoint.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm modeling sort of after that book, and the arrangement is going to, we're going to do a contractual relationship, arrangement, and I am going to receive the contact database to manage, and my side of it is that I will market continuously and appropriately to that database. The team leader that I'm acquiring this from is going to remain licensed as part of the agreement, so that she can receive a declining scale referral. In the first year, it's going to be 30% per transaction that I pull from her database or that she refers to me.
Great.
During that period of time, she can continue to selectively handle transactions out of that database. In the second year, it reduces to 20%, and she can only selectively retain 10% of the total transactions out of that database. And then in the third year, it's 10%, with her referring all transactions out of that database to me. And then after that, she is going to completely let go of her license and retire.
That's great. Okay, so you've got this You've got this figured out. Also, Brenda was just asking what was the name of the book, The Handoff. What were you calling it, Greg?
Called The Golden Handoff.
The Golden Handoff. Okay, good. So, Daniel, if you could look it up and perhaps get the link from Amazon so that Brenda could research
Can't
it
see that
further.
because of my background.
Yeah, it's one of the downsides to it. So,
Nick Crowder.
okay, there we go. Okay. So let me ask you this. Somebody define this, and this could be any one of you. Mark, actually, I'd be very curious to hear what Mark Lawrence has to say. What do you consider a team? What do you consider a team? What are your thoughts on that, Mark?
Um,
He's working
I
out.
guess, yeah, anything more than, working solo. I don't know if having an assistant constitutes the team, but at least two agents or more.
Okay.
I mean, there's different size teams, obviously, and I think awards are based on, small team, 5, 10. I think you can go up to 20, actually, for it to be considered for any awards in most companies.
Yeah. Well, or then they've got the mega teams that go well beyond that. I know my company has a limit on the number of team members you could have. I bet Dina didn't even know that, but we can't have more than 10. Which I don't know how they're. Yeah, Mark, go back to huffing and puffing. That was fine. I'm just fucking with you. But I don't know how much that really matters. At the end of the day, here's the problem with the teams, and this is just some things that all of you really need to consider. The pie is never big enough. So just think about that for a second. We have a closing coming up next week. It's a significant deal. Okay, by any measure, but by standards, it's closing for just over 1.9 million. It's a total 5% commission, so 2.5% to the Edmund Bogen team and 2.5% to the person who brought the deal. We have a 30% referral fee off our 2.5%. So let's go through the math. $48,000 gross commission. Woohoo! Lots of money. We love that, right? A 30% referral fee actually goes out. That's the person that referred the deal to us. I signed it. I knew it. I would do it again. All of you would. We know that. So next, now we've got some team members that have actually worked on it. They need to be paid. And beyond that, all of us need to share it with the big company, right? The company actually has to get their piece. So you're still left with a very good payday. I want to be very clear about that. The problem is, and the problem that most teams kind of fail, is because they're not thinking about the need for capital, for an ongoing set of revenue. And Greg, as you go through this with your team, all these percentages sound great. And it seems like you've got a pretty solid deal. The only concern that I have is that it doesn't take into account the expenses that you may be using or may be incurring to be able to maintain that database or the marketing that you're going to do to those particular people. Again, nothing wrong with it. But one of the things that I've discovered is that, we make certain commitments that we've got. Okay, if we get this deal, you're going to get this. And then things change that go beyond the scope of what you actually had planned. There's somebody that's actually saying that they are worthy of a commission here. Somehow there was somebody that actually made that referral. Or now you've got to take some type of discount on the property, and you already did all sorts of marketing. So the only advice that I could really give this group, if you're trying to figure out what to do within your team, is to really think very hard about leading with revenue. If you have money, you've got everything, notwithstanding what the teachers told you about how you need to do more of a career fulfilling thing in life. You absolutely should have a fulfilling career. Revenue fixes the problem. You could always get somebody to do paperwork. You could always get somebody to do this. And it's a vital, vital part of the deal. It really is. But if you don't have any revenue, you've got no business. Can we all agree with that? So the question that I've got for you, is there's a couple of other things that you need to think about. Has anybody heard of KPIs? Let's see this. Okay, Greg has. Eitan, you've heard of KPIs? Maybe, kind of, sort of. Terry is silent. He's either on a train or angry with me or something. I don't know. Terry's very, very quiet today, and it kind of bothers me. I wish he'd join.
I'm driving.
Oh, you're
I'm driving.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're with us here. Randy, Maria, anybody? I'm trying to get you guys engaged here.
I've heard of it, but I can't remember.
Thank God. I could always count on Levette.
I didn't want to say anything because I couldn't remember what it was. So
Okay, so good. You know what, Levette, and thank you for having the courage to say that. Most people just nod and they don't want to admit. KPIs, key performance indicators. Okay, these are really, really important factors within the business. Let me give you some things that I take a look at. And it's a little bit morbid, but I'm going to take a risk with you guys because we're talking business here. A very large percent, and Dina, feel free to nod wildly, a very large percent of our business is death. A very large percent of my business is people who have died and I get their estate to sell. You could run from it. You could hide from it. You could just candy coat it whatever way you want. But here's the thing. Guy's dead. Somebody's going to be selling the place. I want it to be me. Now, if we could get past that little hurdle here that I find so many agents shy away from, you've got to be able to be prepared to kind of work that. Now, why do I say this? And everyone hears me talk about this in the meetings. You know, for those who've been here, you know I'm a country club expert. I live in a prestigious club in Boca Raton, Florida, with 728 of the most fabulous homes ever. Fabulous place. Here's the thing, and I've spoke with the management of the club based on the actuarial tables of the youngest person living in the household, usually the wife. We will have 173 involuntary sales in the next 5 years here. Isn't that remarkable? 173 involuntary sales. That means death. That's 38 plus per year. That means death. I need to know my numbers. If that's going to be the thing, I've got to embrace it and I've got to figure out what is going to be a strategy to actually get that and how is the team going to actually fit in with this? What are some of your key performance indicators? And Levette, you could throw absolutely anything out there in what you're doing, or Dina as well. It could be absolutely any type of, what you're actually looking at. I look at the 38 homes that are going to be sold in the year, and my key performance is going to be what percentage of that will I be able to captivate? How am I actually going to be able to hit certain things? Okay, Greg is all like,
Divorce.
I hit a funny bone with Greg there. I could see that smile on your face. What did I do wrong?
Yeah, I unfortunately went through. I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Hammer. He wrote Re-engineering the Corporation. I went through a measurement class with him and learned so much. But a KPI needs to be a leading indicator, not a lagging indicator.
Okay.
So, what are the indicators that are going to get you those 38 transactions? Um, you know, how many notes are you sending? How many calls are you making? What are the indicators that get you there?
Sure.
That's what you need to be measuring, not the after. Does that
Well,
make sense?
no, fair enough. You are correct. That's a big factor. All I'm saying is that we've got a marketplace clearly because the transaction will happen. But you are correct. So what are some of the things that we're going to be doing? We have a mailer, Dina, it's going out today, right? I think I've got or RA Daniel, I think we've got a mailer that's dropping today. We've got 2 letters that get sent out every single day, handwritten from here. We've got the weekly email that actually goes out. But more importantly, we're tracking the number of leads that actually come through there, and we're able to see what's taking place. So thank you for correcting me on it. You are right. Dina, you were going to say something? I saw you get all enthusiastic.
Sure.
Okay.
Divorce was actually the other one that's more prevalent. My community has a little bit of a younger demographic in than Edmonds, and we probably don't have quite as many people kicking the bucket in my neighborhood. So divorce is actually a big thing here. And look, I attend a lot. I socialize a lot in the community and try and keep in touch with everybody and keep on top of everything. And Edmund, I was going to actually discuss with you later today. I heard about 2 couples that are now like just decided they're getting divorced. And I want to think about the best way to approach it. But unfortunately, that is more of a thing in my neighborhood than death. So
Well,
just
I mean, when you live in a neighborhood where people love to screw around and have all kinds of problems and they're all weird and take drugs and all that, then that's what's gonna. I'm just fucking with her.
hey, it's a lot of fun.
Hey, yeah. No, Well, that's great. And Dina has actually picked her marketplace that she's going to be working on. The question is, Dina, how could a team actually help that? How could a team,
I do.
what are some of the ways that you could leverage the team? And then we'll get to Greg and to Mark on that as well.
I mean, for me personally, I always need the push, the you got to get this out, you got to get this done, you got to do like, and it's not that I'm lazy. I'm always like, what should I do? Like, I like lists. I make lists, but the accountability of a team is really helpful for me. That somebody's actually saying, "Did you do this?" For whatever reason, and I think it's human nature. It does help me, and also I think that when people see that you're part of a team, it just gives you more gravitas within the community to say, I'm established. We're part of a bigger group where we're really out there doing business. And I think people, when they're considering who to list with, I think it's good for them to know that they've always got coverage. It's not, I'm going up to New York for a weekend and there's no showings this weekend because I'm gone. It's if I'm gone, somebody else on my team is perfectly capable of showing the house as well
Okay.
and taking care of anything else that you need.
So that's the question. So coverage, we've got coverage. You could actually, make sure that there's a strategy and a system set in place. Mark, you had come back onto this thing. Yeah, look at all that glistening, look you got there from the workout. Very, very exciting. So, Mark, what were you going to chime in on this?
No, I mean, I think, people some people work better by themselves. So I think you have to know yourself too. And a lot of people work better, on a team, but it's got to be the right energy around you. I think, what do they say? Together we can go further. So, I mean, I assume, benefit, of you and Dina working together at a team is, she gets the benefit of some of, your great ideas that you share, here, and other stuff I'm sure you hold back, for the team. You get the benefit of, Dina's knowledge and what she brings to the table, coverage wise, not just in terms of manpower, but in terms sometimes of geography. Again, this is always a factor of time and profitability. So it's funny when you mentioned that 1.9 closing, I started doing the math, and right, what people look at the big number, but
Yeah.
when you get down to it, and the amount of time spent in client acquisition, in, obviously selling the home, probably as real estate agents end up working for, you could drive Uber and maybe make more money. Um,
In some cases, yeah, for a lot of us, for a lot of people,
Mhm.
I'm a top producer by definition.
Mhm.
And again, without just looking at purely the numbers, that's what it is. I don't feel like a top producer, but based on the revenue that I generate, and you could still feel extremely poor. Now, that's no, how you feel, that's more for a
A
psychology
therapy, right? A
conversation.
therapy session, but
Yeah, because
you
I'm
know,
far
um,
better off than most,
mhm,
and I certainly recognize
right. Right,
that.
but look at the efforts, right, that you put in. I mean, you study, you're constantly learning, educating yourself, making yourself better. Technology is something that you care about, you're interested in. So part of it is just educating yourself. But, between the time servicing clients, prospecting for clients, selling homes, and educating yourself, getting better, you've got yourself an 80-hour or more, job a week. So, how do you, at some point you got to love what you do, because it's so much of your life. So, again, and that maybe that's one of the benefits of team, is rather than researching all those things, somebody who comes onto your team, gets the benefit of, hey, listen, Edmund's come up with some great ways to prospect. He's come up with some great ways to utilize the technology, and I think that's one of the strengths of working collaboratively. I always like being, part of a team. I think it does, those days when you're down, you can be carried by the team's energy as well, and by other people. So not everybody, has it every day, but when you're on the team, as long as the team lifts you up and, gets you to places that you wouldn't be. So I think for the right person, team is great.
Good. I agree. mindset, to actually put into your mind that your team members are greater than any single deal. And that's hard to kind of imagine at some points, when you're jonesing for money and you really need to get the deals done. You've got to recognize that just like a stock or a bond or something that you could buy, the team is truly an investment. I mean, it truly is. Having people in there is your real investment into trying to get them to make it work. So here are the three things that you're going to get on a team. You could write this down. You're going to hopefully make more money. That's the idea, right? One hopes that you're going to have somebody. I hope that Dina gets this big guy who wants to buy this big thing, and then we make a lot of money. It's like, whoo, yeah, we made money. It's great. Loving making money. So that's one. The other thing is that you're going to get more time. You're going to buy part of your life back. Um, some of you will work until you get carried out by your pallbearers. I'm not of that mindset. You guys really need to try and think through where you want your life to go, but you get valuable time back. We all have 168 hours in a given week. 8 of those are supposed to be spent sleeping. And you've got now 16 hours left from that. Sorry, 8 per day. So it's 24 hours in a day. 8 in a day, you're supposed to sleep.
56.
8 you're going to. Thank you, Nicole.
So 112.
Okay. And you've got the other 2 blocks of time. You're going to have to actually decide, what are you going to really do with that time to make it the most effective? And who said it? I think, Mark, you had said that with all these team members, you've got to manage the time with them. I struggle with that all the time. How much time do I give to everybody that I'm going to actually stop, and that you could be doing something other than where you're going to be? It might very well be that you shouldn't be on a large team, or that you shouldn't be the one running something that's so big. You got to actually stop and think that through. Greg, the law of unintended consequences. How many people are on this team that you're acquiring?
6 and an assistant.
6 and an assistant. And do you have anyone on your team now?
No,
No, that nice young lady that came to the meeting, she's not on your team?
no,
Oh, okay. Okay. So look,
not yet.
you're about to have a very different career. That's all I'm saying. It's not a bad career, it's a good career, but you're about to have certain challenges and changes that go in. And I think all the time of the work that you put into your business and what you're trying to accomplish, the business just changes dramatically every time you add someone. Dean and I talk about this all the time. I'd love to add someone else to the team, provided that A, they don't really step on Dina's toes or Samantha's toes, that I'm not cannibalizing the team based on territory. So that's another thing that you should write down. Where is the territory? Where are people working? Is there too much overlap? Are they going to play nice in the sandbox? We had a woman on our team. She's no longer on our team. But when she came into the meeting, she said, I got a $30 million buyer. I'm not kidding, guys. I got a $30 million buyer from Zillow, and I'm actively working this particular person. I'm like, great. How can we support that? Well, I've got this. I'm like, well, who is this person? I'd rather not say. Okay, that doesn't work on our team. Dina will never steal your business. Nicole and Samantha I will not steal anyone's business. We have a contract that says that we're not going to do that. And anybody on my team that tries that kind of monkey business, they know that they wouldn't really be on I wouldn't do it. And I think that that's what we have, that level of trust. This one untrusting person, I'm really glad she's gone. I really am, because what it really boiled down to was it's a bad ingredient in the soup. So, Greg, as you go forward with these 6 people, how long have they been together?
Various times. I think the newest is probably 18 months and is a
Oh,
newer agent.
that's a very established team then. That's great.
Oh yeah, yeah, they've all been around. They're all good producers and they all work well together. I don't know that they'll all stay. We'll find out.
Well, if the newest one is 18 months, then it sounds like they do. I mean, it sounds like you've got quite a bit. But good. So I'm very curious to see how that works out for you. Who else has got questions or ideas about teams? I'm curious to hear what some of you. I see Nicole, you joined us. Feel free to jump in, or Brenda, or Maria. Any one of these people have been all silent here. I'd love to be able to
I
talk with you
I
about.
have a question.
Oh, Terry, please.
Um, okay, you as the team leader get a listing,
Yes.
and the client only wants you to do everything.
Welcome to
How do
our
you deal
world.
with that? Well, I didn't hire your team. I hired you.
Correct the innuendo. That's wrong. You didn't hire me. You hired the service that I bring to the table. You hired the
Ah,
service that I bring to the table. And if I'm doing a deal with Dina or Samantha or anyone on the team, um, they may be responsible to do the work. I'm accountable if they screw up. That people, no one's accountable anymore. So the accountability is a huge factor. I think the buyer or the seller is going to behave in a way. Now, we've had situations where Dina was very close with somebody, and it wouldn't make sense for me to regularly show that person property, or that it wouldn't make sense for me to be the lead person speaking to them. And we've had circumstances where I've had people that preferred Dina to working with me. I've had other things where people preferred me than working with Dina. So fortunately for us, the showing is just a very small part of it, at least in my opinion. There's a lot of other stuff that's going on in the background that like Dina's pointing up at the sky right. And what do you want, Dina? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that to me, that is another huge advantage of being on a team is that nobody is beloved by everybody. And Ed and I have really found that certain clients prefer him, certain clients prefer me. Some people just like both of us because they're smarter. And, you know, it actually is a huge advantage when you have different personalities and again, that's like a big advantage of a team that if I see that somebody's clicking better with Ed, I don't take it personally. Great, work with Ed. We're all in it together. I'll be in the background taking care of background stuff. It's all good. But again, like we were talking about, one of the benefits of being on a team, we didn't really even discuss that. I think that that's huge.
Sure. It is. And look at it this way, Terry, it's even better if you're not going to form Terry, do you have a team now? I think you brought one person on, or what's your deal these days? Terry? Okay. He's
can you hear me now?
Now we can. Now we can.
I have brought on two people onto a team in the last 3 months.
Okay.
We went on a pitch last night, one of them and I, and did well at tossing the ball back and forth during the pitch. It is my lead. My client sold this woman her apartment years ago, but I'm glad that Lawrence was there to have a different perspective on it. As someone who was only bought and sold twice in his life, he was able to be sympathetic towards this woman out of state. So we are still learning our way here. I have never had that particular circumstance that I brought up, but in my mind's eye, I could hear somebody saying that. That's why I am so good at that devil's advocate thing.
You're great at the devil's advocate thing, and it does happen. And it happens more than I'd like. But on the other hand, it is the type of thing that you have to set in motion right away. Now, dividing the pie, I've got a very simple deal with my team. I tell you guys everything. So you just ask and I'll tell you, because here's the thing. Ideas are cheap. Execution is hard. Okay. You could come up with all these people. Oh, I can't tell you. It's a secret. I'm not going to, I kidding me? Talk to Aton. We hardly have time to talk about this business. Okay. I don't have time to chase someone else's. So don't be so secretive about your stuff. I mean, if you got the world's greatest idea, I guess you could keep it to yourself, but I'm just telling you, in my experience, people don't steal ideas that well. Because execution is really, really the hard part. But what you've got to see in the deals, the people that you're working with, is that it's a very, very difficult uh, thing to try and carve things out initially. Once it's carved out, as far as the pie between the team, you have to have an agreement to be somewhat flexible. For example, you'll always hear me talk about my immediate farm area. It very well will be the lion's share of my business for the rest of my career. It could very well be. Um, so therefore, what I do within this club, I've said to my team members, there are certain deals you'll be brought in on. It's not going to necessarily be the same split as the other deals, but every single thing that I'm really doing outside of this community, I'd like to be able to extend and choose and work with you two on. And it's worked out, I think, for the most part, fairly well. That we really do have that. And that whole thing will evolve, but to have some type of guideline or guidance of what's going to be, and to be able to nip the problem, if there's a problem, jump on it right away. That's the other thing that I could tell you, that it's like cancer. It'll grow through the business. This woman who'd said that she doesn't want to talk about the deal or share anything with us, I mean, there was obviously more to it than just that with her, but it really was, if we don't have some type of real relationship here, we have nothing. By the way, the reason I came up with the team in the first place several years ago, and I ran into him at my club yesterday. He's since moved out and retired somewhere, but he was with a friend at my country club. He was I went in and interviewed for the job. He gave it to another realtor. And I said, can I take you to lunch and discover how I could improve? And he was a very nice old elderly man. He said, sure. We went out to lunch and he said, Ed, I don't think real estate is a job that a man should have. I think my wife makes the decision. She listens to the woman realtor. I think you're in the wrong industry. I think you're better than the realtor that I met, who I ultimately hired, but I just don't think it's a man's business. And of course, I joke around. So I said, someday we're going to break through the glass ceiling and you can't stop us. Us men, we're going to stick together. Things are going to be okay. But you know what? You could ho and hum and complain about how horrible that is, or it was discrimination, or was whatever it is. Or you could be like me and go get some estrogen. Hey, Dina. Hey, Samantha. Hey, Nicole. We need some women. Because this is the thing. There are going to be people that are going to look at you and not want to do business with you. Now you could like tell them to go fuck off, or you could find a way to actually make some money here. I mean, I don't know if that's resonating with anybody here, but that's kind of an important factor. Okay, what else? Who else has something to say? Important topic here. Please take a look at, and I'll just share my screen here at the. You see, this is put together by Daniel. He did a really nice job. We put this out there. And it really does give you some exercises that you're going to be able to do, some goals that you could actually say your current size, what you're trying to overcome, who you need to hire. Who's got an assistant, by the way? The unsung hero of every team. Greg, you have an assistant? Got a quick, no? He's typing. He lost his voice. Cat's got your tongue?
No, I just don't know how to unmute. No, I do not. I do not as of yet.
Okay, so that's going to be a hurdle for you with these 6 people. It's something to consider. A lot of you resist it because they see it as a negative dollar amount. I could make the argument about why that's not the case and how you could probably scale an assistant and be able to grow with that. It is so vital to the business. Right now, when I get somebody might say to me, oh, did you find out about XYZ expense? I automatically forward it to the team member that's on the deal and to Nicole, who's in this meeting with us now. And I might do it with a bunch of question marks on it. We don't even need to talk anymore. We're soon going to start grunting. It's very primordial. But it really does help you get the job done, and it really is something that's a big, big thing. Having a system in place, inclusive of people to support you, whether it's an actual full-time hired assistant or not, it's really truly is the first hire in the making of a good team.
And there is an assistant on the team, so that will be part of the new structure.
Okay. Do you have my standard operating procedure, Greg?
No, I do not.
Daniel, would you send him a sample of my SOP? And then you need to actually work it out. The standard operating procedure is really, really important because you could then stop and think through. Again, this many of you will say, "Well, I never follow it that strongly." I don't either. I just use it as a guideline to be able to know who's doing what and where. We overlap, we screw up. There's all kinds of things, but somehow the job gets done. So, Daniel, if you could send that to Greg, that would be great. Okay. Anything else before we get to wants, needs, and brags? No, maybe.
Can I just say, I'm actually just here to kind of listen today because I've had no desire to start a team, but I always feel like I can always pick up gems by being here because you guys are part of my tribe. Um, so I've always wanted to be, there's a local agent here, and I just love him. He's been in a business probably almost 30 years and he's never had a team. He just does his own thing and he does really, really well. So I aspire to be him because I like to travel. I've never had a desire to manage people. So, but like I said, I'm here to pick up some gems along the way. I can always, I always take away something every single week. So that's just
Well,
me.
we
I'm a
love
solo
having you.
star.
We love having you. That's great. And I appreciate your words and thank you. And Nicole, can I have a copy as well? Yes. Nicole, if you could send a direct message to Daniel. Daniel, why don't you wave wildly right now? Ah, there he is waving wildly. So that's Daniel. Send your email address over this chat and he will email you a copy of our SOP. And if you want the standard operating procedure, please just send Daniel an email. It's just a sample. It's one that I used years ago. You need to personalize it. We've got a newer one that's got more, it's irrelevant to everyone else. It's more of my own notes and things, but this should be a good boilerplate for you to begin building a plan for yourself. Okay, who else? Okay, great. Maybe wants, needs, and brags. Now's the time in the meeting to say what you want, what you need, and what you'd like to brag about. It could be anything at all. You've accomplished something that's big, that you got a big deal. Greg, you're buying into a business here. You're getting a team together. So, this is going to be this is very exciting for you. Who else? Brenda, maybe? I see you're unmuted now. Brenda? Okay, I'm going to mute you, Brenda, just because there was background noise. Anyone?
Hello, everyone. This is Nicole
Hey,
Eaton.
Nicole.
I see we
Where
have
are you, Nicole?
I'm in Atlanta.
Cool. Hey.
And so, hi, this is my first time on the meeting. I, like the previous young lady said, never have had I've never been on a team before. I'm 22 years in the business. I do have my own brokerage, and I just opened a brokerage in Texas. And so my partner was, just talking about he's a builder, maybe building a team. So when I saw this, I thought I'd jump on just to try and get an understanding of building a, team in the office, like you said, where we all can, play nice in the sandbox. How does that work with, commission and commission structure? And so I am here to listen and learn and get gems and figure out, how to go about it if that's what we decide to do. So I just wanted to introduce myself, say why I'm here. And if I can offer any bits, but like I said, I'm originally licensed in Michigan. I'm from Detroit. I've been in Atlanta for 12 years, and I just got my license in Texas last year. So just really trying to figure out how I can incorporate them all to try to, expand. My focus really now, I like development.
Okay.
So building is what I, want to eventually see my career in the development space.
Well, it's in 22 years in the business. That's great. And congratulations on the new office in Texas. It's hard to scale, but it sounds like you got the right mindset. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Mindset, like you said, I have the ideas, but the execution is the hard part. So that is where I'm, just looking for plans or, just other people's experiences of what went well, what didn't go well, as far as, as scaling and pulling it all together. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome. I'm glad to have you here.
thank you.
I want to mention to a couple of people that Nicole, thinking and praying for all the West Coast and Central Florida. It's bad. We have regrettably, three members here who now I found out lost their homes in the storm, not the last storm. One of them was Lauren Krawczyk. I don't know if you guys know, or
Oh no.
Alicia Warburton also lost her home. And there was one or two others as well. Yeah. Well, David, Terry, she's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
my hope is
that's
that
oh
they were able to get their crap together with insurance and all this, but especially since you know her, Terry, it might be a nice thing to send
yeah.
an email, a note, or catch up. I've uh,
Yeah.
I've reached out to some friends, and when we're back, again, I'm not next door to Tampa. For those of you that don't know Florida, I'm like 5 hours away from there, so we're not really close to it. But it is a terrible thing that's actually happening here, and I do think that going beyond that and being a support for people in a time of need is a very nice thing to do. I've given some money to the Red Cross. Again, this does not, it's not even a drop in the bucket for what these folks need. If anybody could creatively think about it, how we as a group might be able to help other members of this meeting. I mean, to have three that actually had homes flattened is really just remarkable to me, but it is indicative of a storm. Let me just give you a couple other things. We've got our meeting next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, leveraging technology for real estate success. We always jump into the tech stuff every now and then, all the new little AI tools that are coming out and some of the stuff that we're doing to build leads. We're going to be talking about that. Then on the 23rd, also at 9 a.m., mastering the art of negotiation in real estate. Every now and then, I do like to find out from all of you where you are coming in with negotiation and how you're able to do it. And then lastly, on Wednesday, the 30th, we've got client relationship management for realtors. So I want to have an overview of all the different CRMs and the technologies that are out there now. We are a technology agnostic group, meaning I don't tell you what technology to use. I will tell you some of the best practices in using it. But here's the thing, whatever you do is better than whatever you do not do. So write that down. Whatever you do each and every single day to be able to build that business is so much better than what has not happened. Because let's face it, you meet new people. It could either end right here, Nicole, you and I might never speak again. I hope not. Or there could be some type of action in there where we could say, wow, there's a real reason to be able to connect and get together. And again, in some cases that's the truth, in some cases it's not. But just remember that the person with the greatest network seems to do the best. So, Terry, are you in a position where you're able to sing?
Um, I forgot that I need to mention something first. Can
Okay.
I invite
Please.
people
Yeah,
to an
I'll give you an
event?
addendum.
On October 23rd in Industry City in Brooklyn, which is the new Soho Tribeca, if you will, of Brooklyn, I will be co-hosting an event called Design and Real Estate. All of the big design houses that are in Industry City, like ABC Carpet, Wayfair, Design Within Reach, will all be at this event along with real estate professionals, designers, contractors, developers for a mixer, if you will. We've got over 75 RSVPs. This is going to be in the theater at Industry City, October 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. Let's overflow this theater out into the common spaces that make Industry City so cool. I'll send the invite. I'll put it up on the REIGNation page. Come on in, especially all you people displaced from Florida. You need a place to go. This would be it. And that's it for my plug.
People, also the people in New York. Mark,
Yeah.
maybe you've got a friend that says you never take me anywhere. You could go there. That would be great. Anyway, Mark, I got to tell you that whole glistening workout. Mark is a fat boy. He's got the Fat Boy Fit Club. I'm a fat boy too. Once a fat boy, always a fat boy. And you've done a great job embracing your inner fat boy and making yourself into a thin boy and working out so very hard and really doing all of it. You're arguing with me now. No, you're still a fat boy.
Yeah, but but I always will say, get out, exercise, take a walk every day. It's really important. I did have triple bypass 9 years ago, and I haven't changed, a lot of, I've changed certain things in my life, but live your life, but make sure you take care of your health. That's
Yeah.
really important.
So
And have fun with it, embrace it.
and have fun. We love that. Okay, guys. So you got all the dates and all this. Terry, you ready for me?
You betcha.
Okay. When I get to this point in the meeting, it makes me want to say it really was great having all of you. I'm so glad that you were able to make it today, and I look forward to seeing all of you next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another exciting episode of
REIGNation.
Hey. It wasn't as good as on the phone, but Terry, he's a good guy. He always sings us out. We love that. And have a great week, everybody. If you want to catch up, give me a buzz. And peace.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.